You're listening to my new series called Tall Tales, where I interview fellow tall human beings about their lived experience in a body that's larger than life. It started with a little whisper. What is the soul's purpose in being in a tall body? I think that answer is visibility. Tall Tales is devoted to having the real conversations that tall people want and need to have about being seen and being a force for good in the world. Together we talk about what our height has taught us, as well as what we're still unlearning to this day. Tune in for inspiring and empowering conversations with people who have made being tall their superpower. I am so excited to have my dear friend Daniel Rodriguez on Tall Tales today. Dan is not only the founding member of the iconic band Elephant Revival, but now he is an incredible solo artist touring around the country with his own band, Daniel Rodriguez. If you get the chance to see him live, I highly recommend you get those tickets, saddle up in person, and be blown away by this man's poetry and his musicianship. He is such an artist, and you'll see that really shine through our episode here today. Funny thing, Dan actually helped me name this show, Tall Tales. We workshopped the title back in January while we were in Puerto Rico, and he was the catalyst who really encouraged me to lean into the cheesiness and the unique subject matter that we dive into here. This conversation is born out of a lot of community gatherings in which Dan and I find ourselves connecting heart to heart about what it is like to be so tall and taller than everyone else around us in our community here. But what I love about this episode is that it's about so much more than just height. It's a deep dive into Dan's lived experience from his birth all the way to the present moment. We talk about how he honors his vessel and the logistics of navigating the world with so much constant travel, given how big his stature is. Quick note, if you'd like to share your own story on Tall Tales, send me a message at Social Alchemy Institute on Instagram. I'll be recording more episodes very soon. And now, without further ado, let's get into it with Daniel Rodriguez. Well, hi everybody. I'm here with Daniel Rodriguez, dear friend and fellow tall human, and I'm so excited to get to sit down with you today and have a conversation. We're here in Dan's home studio. Woo! It's such a beautiful work of art.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on here today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah. My friend Jason helped build all this. I was kind of like director of like what I wanted, but this is all his craftsmanship. So, and then all the equipment is just stuff I've collected over the years.
Well, it's immaculate. You guys, if you could see it in real life, there's lots of beautiful details, and also it looks like there's lyrics everywhere and
lyrics
songs
everywhere
that are being written.
Yeah, I'm a lyric guy.
Yeah, you are the lyric guy. Well, I'm so excited to have a conversation with you today on Tall Tales. You're our first male guest.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's exciting.
Yeah.
So let's get the big thing out of the room. How tall are you?
I'm 6'5" 3/4.
Okay. And were you always tall?
Yeah. Yeah, I was always tall. So like in elementary school, I was winning all the races because my legs were so long. And then when junior high came along, my legs were super long. My torso was very short. So it was kind of an awkward period. My ears were very big until my head grew.
So what were some of your early experiences realizing I'm tall? I'm taller than a lot of other people. And how did that make you feel, or what did you notice?
Yeah, I think I always, on the playground, just kind of playing around with other kids and just like realizing my tallness and my strength. It was kind of, I was like behemoth, compared to everybody else. And I think that's when I first was like, oh, okay. For some reason, I was just like very athletic because of how big I was and how my muscles grew and everything like that. So I think that's when I realized like, okay, there's something about me. And like the basketball coaches, they were always trying to get me on their teams. Obviously, probably you too, right? Mm-hmm. Just go stand under the basket. They'll throw it to you and put it in the hoop.
Yeah, like it's that easy. But for you, it was. It sounds like you were a pretty athletic kid from the get-go.
Yeah, my dad played basketball. He's also tall. So my father is 6'4". I think he's shrinking a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So what kinds of projections, if any, did you get about like who you were and what you were capable of? Because I presume, me being a tall woman, I get them all the time about my athletic ability or my leadership qualities, but I wasn't as athletic as you growing up. So I wonder if people are projecting this athleticism onto you and you're like, yeah, actually, I am kind of a stud.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not like, it's weird. It's not necessarily studly because I'm also an artist. So like I had artist friends that didn't think it was very cool to be a jock, right? So I always existed between those two worlds. And so like I never really had an ego about sports because I had my artistic friends that kind of cut me down a little bit. And then my jock friends, they were always like, you're always hanging out with the hipsters or the druggies or whatever, you know. I'm like, yeah, those are my people. So yeah, I never really had like and my grandmother, she was, God bless her, she was always like, don't get a big head about your playing big shows, don't get a big head about it. So anything she ever said, I always like, that's gonna be part of me. So I always like, whenever you get a big head about something, something goes wrong. It's always it's a wacky way to go about the world. So I try not to do that. And who am I anyway? You know, it's like, who are you?
Tell me more about those two worlds that you've always existed in, like existing as an artist and an athlete, which are yin and yang in many ways.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I had like the whole sports world growing up, and just by virtue of being tall. But then I got into psychedelics at a young age.
Oh, let's go there.
Hi, Mom. Just my folks split up, and yeah, I think it was tough for my mom to kind of keep track of all three of us. Plus, she was like dating people, so you know, she was trying to live her life, and we were just kind of kids, and so I started falling in with the older kids, and the older kids kind of.
Around what age was this?
I was like 12, 13, pretty young.
Yeah.
And some of the older kids were like treating me as like a science experiment, and it just sort of mind altered, you know. And then I always had a connection with music, but it's getting into psychedelics sort of like shifted me into that a lot more. But I think that just was just by virtue of the age that it all happened. And then, but yeah, just my connection with music, it all started around, honestly, like the very first experience where like a gateway opened, it was very early on, and I was like maybe 9 or 10 years old. And the elementary school had this Native American drumming group and singing group come and play for us in the auditorium, and they were dancing and chanting and drumming, and that just like blew me away. I don't think I have any, you know, Native American blood in me, but for some reason that was just so profound. And like I went home that after school, and I like went up to my room and I shut the door and I just started like chanting and dancing around. So that, I think that was kind of like the first moment that was musically profound, and was like, wow, I'm kind of weird.
Not to mention that was a Native American dance and performance, which probably also started to weave in, you're very spiritual too. Like,
yeah.
I think that's a huge part of you and in your life that maybe some people know about, but certainly those of us who know you in person know that your spiritual life is like a huge, huge part of you.
Yeah, I think it's sort of the only thing, really.
Yeah.
The spiritual life is the only thing. And then like the day-to-day things you have to do, you have to find spiritual values in those things in order to inform your spiritual life. Because I think that's what this is it's a spiritual thing, even the mundane stuff.
So I have a question that's a little specific in that regard, because I have a theory that our souls choose, they choose our bodies, they choose our lessons, they choose our experience in this lifetime. And I wonder what your take is on why your soul, or why you chose such a tall body in this lifetime, and what maybe your soul was trying to experience or accomplish or work through with such a larger than life kind of physical body.
That's interesting. That's a very good question. Wow. I think it's really to like help shorter people get things off the top shelf. That's like really the only time I find like value in being tall is like when someone short's like, hey, can you get that? Or you go to the food store and a nice older lady's like, hey, I really love that. And I'm just so delighted to like utilize my tallness to get something for someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, to be of service.
To be of service, yeah. But I don't know. That's funny. Like you saw a picture of my friend earlier. I have a picture of my friend Sam, who passed away a few years ago. And Tessa saw it. Said, who's this guy? That's my friend Sam. And he used to always say like, yeah, I watch you. You're too big for your own world. He always used to be like, kind of like irked me a little bit, but then he never meant any harm with anything he said. It was just sort of his observations, like, I'm too big for my own world, you know. I feel like the Gulliver's Travel, you know.
I think it's so funny that your friend would say that to you.
Oh, you're too big for your own world.
I mean, you and I have been around each other and we've gotten comments about how tall we are. Like, I watch it happen to you. It's not like these things are that big of a deal, but they do happen most days.
Yeah.
Are there any things that people still say to you that kind of bother you, or anything that used to? Like, how do you really navigate the comments?
I think that the most comments that I get is like I perform on stage. So like when I'll go out and talk to people in the audience, they'll be like, "Wow, I didn't understand how tall you are." I get that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I had this guy who I'm kind of a big fan of. Musically, I got to meet him. I'm a big fan of his art. We listen to him quite a bit.
Okay.
I won't say his name, but I got backstage because we were at a venue that I know everybody, and I just ended up talking to him, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, we could never be friends. You're too tall." And I was just like, "Oh, yeah." It was like such a weird thing to say, and I think it touched on like that, the tallness insecurity, like, wow, yeah, imagine that.
Yeah, you somebody you look up to.
Never meet your heroes.
Yeah, totally. Never meet them.
Yeah.
No, but it's like, it's kind of this ongoing thing that I think I feel sometimes like I'm other, or kind of like alien, or like just outside, or rather like maybe just above everything. And then when someone like actually pierces that directly, you're like, "Oh, please don't say stuff like that to me."
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all I'm trying to do is connect or not feel that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like, come on, why you gotta? I'm just me, all right.
Yeah.
So I stopped like wearing boots because after that comment, I was like, oh, I'm already so tall. I should wear flats.
I noticed that. I noticed you do wear more like sneakers.
Yeah.
Or flat sneakers. But you also have notably incredible style.
Oh,
I think
thank
you're
you.
very well dressed. And I wonder what your personal journey is in finding your sense of style, like on stage, off stage, is like for you as such a tall dude.
It's funny because I played in a band for 15 years, and I was a romantic partner with one of the people in that band. And her family is outback woods, very kind of grungy, could wear the same thing a few days in a row, and that's like fine. Well, I do that all the time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I got a new pair of shoes one time when we were traveling to where she was from. And she looked down at the shoes and she said, "You better dirty those up before we get there." Like, she was embarrassed that I had like a nice new pair of shoes and like what that would appear like with her family. So I feel like over time, like perhaps men with their girlfriends inform them a little bit on what looks good. And so with her and that relationship, I started to be like, okay, she likes it if I look like I don't care about what I look like. So then I did that for a long time. And if you look at like old pictures of my old band, it's like, yeah, it looks like I don't really care what I look like, which that's cool. And I think that's sort of like the synergy of my style now. It's like, I still don't really care, but like I do. I find like colors matter to me, and just like blending in with nature in a way that's like, because I feel like the style of nature's very like simpatico, you know, it's like everything is groovy. You know, you go down to New Mexico, and
Which is where you're from.
yeah, where my dad lives, and you know, you have to have adobe houses because they want everything to fit in with the land. I think that's so cool to like, you know, you come up here to Colorado and a lot of the structures are just not very thought out. It's just like put things up quick and fast, and we don't care how it looks. But down in like New Mexico, everything kind of blends in with the land, and I kind of feel like that with my own style. I just sort of want to be natural.
So something you said that was interesting about blending in, and I wonder how do you wrap your head around blending in when you don't?
I don't know, just don't remind me that I don't blend in.
And then maybe for a little while you'll feel like you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's probably similar to you, right? You just sort of have to forget that you're tall, and you just sort of, you know, it's tough to forget. because like you and I at a party, we can find a corner and we can talk to each other and hear each other. But if the party's really loud and everybody's down here, you can't. It's tough to talk. You gotta be like, what? So I think that's sort of like the camaraderie of tall people. Is like at a party we can hang out and we don't have to like talk very loud.
Totally. I always appreciate my camaraderie with you.
Yeah.
I always feel like hermana y hermano. We're just like, okay, what's going on with you up here? Because there is this energy of like, okay, there's always a small bit of effort to connect or drop in with some people or in a circle. Or I feel like sometimes if we're standing in a circle, I literally feel like a head or two above everybody else, or in like hugging, greeting. It's not like it's necessarily, it's not awkward. It just is something that it's like there's a moment where people comment on it more often than not. And it's often in like first meeting somebody or first greeting somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, like your friends now, they don't really talk about it.
Yeah, but strangers definitely.
I talk about it with you just because I'm like,
yeah,
so nice to have a tall friend.
I want to go back in time a little bit about some of your hardest years in your body.
I had a lot of hard years.
Yeah, tell me about that.
I was basically born like not well. I was born almost dead. Because now there's a shot for it. But I think when I was born, there was not a shot for it. And my mom's blood type and my blood type are not compatible with each other. And so her body was treating me inside of her as like an invader. As soon as she gave birth to me, is a better way to put it, they had to give me a full blood transfusion. So as soon as I was born, I was given a full blood transfusion. And then I had to be in an incubator for a long, long time. Mm. My mom had to like lean over and like breastfeed me in the incubator.
Fascinating. How do you think that that's imprinted or impacted your life in any way?
I don't know. I've always, like, I'm definitely of my family. Like, there's no doubt. Like, when we all get together, it's like, yeah, we're family. But I think I've always definitely been a bit of the black sheep, you know. Yeah, I went off and became a hippie. I like camped out. I didn't like live in a place and lived in a truck for a long time just so I could become a musician. You know, it was like a lot of sacrifices that sort of went against. I mean, my family was very supportive of it, but I definitely like went an alternative path. And I think, you know, like who's to say, but having a mixture of like my first moments of being on planet Earth, I am like stripped of whatever blood was inside of me and given like other people's blood. It's kind of a wild thing. I think that maybe was part of the, you know, played into my black sheepness.
Yeah. What other years of your life have been hard?
When I was 5, I had a major surgery. Like if I pulled my shirt up, there's this, I don't know if you've seen it, but I have a scar going across my belly.
I think that was from 2020.
No. But then again, 2020.
Right. Wait, so go to age 5 and then we'll talk 2020.
Yeah, so age 5, I had this angioma, which is like your veins surface to your skin and create a birthmark. And it got infected. And I don't really know the whole story. I just know that I was put under and they had to like cut it all off. So that was wild. I had like a cast from my neck down to my groin. Wow. That I had on for like a month.
At age 5?
Yeah.
Super impactful.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. And then in your 20s and 30s, you're very much on the road. You're traveling how many days a year? Touring?
A lot, like 150.
Yeah, and you're going all over the world, right?
All over the world, yeah.
Yeah. What was that era of life like on your body?
I think when we first started out, it was kind of, you know, we were all doing yoga and just living out of a bus. And you're sort of like these gypsies that, you know, we're eating well because we're all very conscious of it. We came out to Boulder in our early 20s. I mean, the school bus that we traveled in for a long time, it was very, back to the tall thing, it was like a short. So like when I was standing, I couldn't stand up in the bus because I had to like hunch over.
Sure.
Yeah.
Probably like only 6 feet. Maybe.
The only place I could stand up was on the stairs on the way out.
Yeah. As it drops a couple feet. And the whole band was living on the bus.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've fully lived in an environment for a whole time that you had to like cower in
Yeah,
and
I
shrink
had
in.
to shrink in, yeah.
Yeah, it's so hard on the body.
Yeah. And it's kind of a metaphor for that whole experience, in that band. It was a lovely ensemble of music, a lovely blend, but like I feel like everybody but maybe, someone had to kind of shrink a little bit in order for like other things to flourish.
Has that happened at any other points in your life that you feel like or maybe there's just a through line or a golden thread of shrinking?
I maybe in social settings, I try and appear small, which actually someone told me one day, they were like, you're trying to appear small, but it makes you look more intimidating because you're like, "Argh." He's like, just stand up straight, like be tall, and like you'll be less intimidating. I was like, oh, okay. Still lose that plot, and I still kind of like, because you have to duck down to hear people.
Totally, but it's such a metaphor for life where we're shrinking to fit in, but it's not effective because there's no fitting and there's no blending in. What are you going to lose, 2 inches in that effort? Like in rounded shoulders, but there's no shrinking to average height. So it's such a funny, I think it's such a funny like subconscious thing that all of us tall people do where we really do try, but we don't succeed.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
I think we just all do it or have done it or work on not doing it as best we can.
Yeah.
How does, if it does at all, being tall impact how you move through the world? You mentioned earlier that there's like kind of like an energy where you allow yourself to forget, like you don't think about it all the time.
Yeah, I think I'm always sort of cognizant of it, but I tuck it all the way back until it's very apparent. I travel a whole lot, so
Yeah, you
I
do.
fly a whole lot.
Yep.
You're
always somewhere.
I'm always somewhere. So if it's unfortunate being an artist, at my level where you have to like, gosh, do I spend more money? Like it's almost like a tallism, not like a racism, but like a tallism where you have to spend more money than people to like be as comfortable as they are in like a economy seat on a plane. It's like, why do I have to spend double so that I can be as comfortable as everyone else?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody say that, and it's so true.
I travel so much that it's like, I'm investing in myself in the moment, in my future self, rather than just cowering in order to like, save a buck or two, which is in the long run, I'm going to need a massage or something, which is going to be that $200 that I didn't pay on the seat. So
yeah. So are you an economy plus kind of guy, or do you like to be as close up as you can be?
I'll get like the exit seat, which is sort of middle. And because I fly so much, sometimes I'll get bumped up to the first class, like every once in a while. And that's pretty wild.
When I think about you and I listen to your music, I really feel this beautiful, like, American journey. Like, when I'm listening to your music, I feel like I'm on the road with you. Like, I'm driving, and it's beautiful and expansive, and there's a sense of, like, heart and grief and poetry moving through the whole thing, but also it just feels like it's under this big, expansive sky.
Yeah, that's like me.
That's...
Because
okay.
I'm traveling a lot, so
Yeah.
a lot of my experiences in Vagabondia, and then I'm all human, so I have grief, I have joy, but I'm also like, I love poetry. I feel like it's the most pristine way to communicate, because the English language, like so commerce based and like transactional, but poetry is like, it's just a way to communicate that's on a level that, I don't know, you see in between the lines,
Yeah. Tell me more about poetry and writing and your creative process and where you pull inspiration from.
Well, I think it's maybe just presence, like anytime that, and sometimes you're just kind of whacked over the head with presence, it's just like, whoa, right now I'm connected to everything, and it's a gift. And then sometimes it's like, you have to be disciplined to get in that space. But there's so much things to do in life, like wash the dishes. But today I went through I have a bunch of coins. Every time I use cash, I have a bunch of coins. I was just like looking at all the dates on the coins, and some of the older coins are like very worn out and oxidized and been through some rough stuff. And then some of the older ones are like shiny as a new one. And then some of the newer ones are all roughed up. And so it's like I don't know. I was just tripping out on coins and like getting all these messages just from like the age of coins and stuff like that. That was my morning.
I want to know more about your spiritual journey. I know your whole life you view it as a spiritual journey, but when did you really start beyond psychedelics, kind of journeying more as like a practice or as a daily thing into your spiritual self?
Yeah, I think it started like pretty early on. I remember when I was like a real young kid, maybe 5 or 6, I was convinced that, I'm outside playing with my friends, neighborhood friends. And I was convinced that we could switch bodies. I was like, yeah, we're just spirits. We can, like, let's do it. Let's switch bodies right now. And my friend would be like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, we could switch bodies. Let's try it. And so just like seeing how he thought that was weird. And then I had to, like, in retrospect, be like, is that weird? I just remember being like really little and like seeing, like, I think most kids see this, like little light orbs flying around and stuff. Maybe not, I don't know. But, I just have always like seen stuff sometimes, where it's like, oh, maybe there's more to this than what we normally see. Sometimes my brain flickers into places like that where I'm like, maybe I'm crazy, or maybe I'm like seeing things that like are always there, but we choose not to see them because we're always in survival mode or whatever. I say people, places, times, and events. Those are the things that keep you like narrow and out of fear. You can just like, they're very safe. It's like a warm blanket. Like you talk about people, you can talk about places, like you talk about the weather, you can talk about events, but then like outside of that, there's a lot going on. And I just think that sometimes our brains like forget people, places, times, and events and expand and get these little flickers of stuff. And I think as a kid, I used to have that a lot. And so like I have that memory of all that stuff. So like I know that there's more. And I think with psychedelics, when in my teenage years, which are awkward years, like 13, 14, it just like brought me back into that space where it's like, oh, reality is kind of malleable and sensitive to energy, and like the energy that we emit and the energy that nature emits, it's like very malleable and translucent and connected. And so, yeah, it's just a continuous sort of awareness of all that stuff.
Didn't you go to some really interesting meditation school or kind of for a while? Tell me about that journey, that time.
I don't typically talk about that. But yeah, I went to this place where you do like blindfolded archery, and you do things like you draw your dream on a card. You just make a symbol of your dream, and then on your way out to this big field that's all fenced in, you're walking out with like hundreds of people, and you hand your card to someone, they hand their card to you, and then that process continues and while you go out to the field. So by the time you get out of the field, that's happened about 20 times, and you have who knows what card, and your card is in who knows what hand. And then there's like this huge field that's fenced in, and you put the card on the fence, and the teacher goes, all right, blindfolds down. And you put your blindfolds down, and then you spin around until they tell you to stop. And at that point, you have no idea what direction you're going, where you are, where you're facing. And then you're just supposed to focus on your breath, and you're supposed to focus on the symbol that you drew. And then it's like this ultimate focus practice. And it's called like singular thinking or analog thinking, where you fully become your dream. And it's just like sort of this living metaphor for everything. And we would do stuff like that. We do sending and receiving, where you...
Wait, what would happen? Would you find it?
People would find it. I never found my card.
Okay, but people did.
Oh, yeah, like...
So you're kind of looking for the match in this.
I had some very profound moments while doing that, but I never found my card. Yeah.
And this is all sober. Sober and absolute just clear focus. All stimulus removed.
That's it. It's like all those things you can imbibe in order to like arrive at some of those states.
Yeah, totally.
You're using your own technology, your inner technology to do all that.
Incredible. And how old are you when this is happening?
Oh, I'm like, I think 19 when I first went out there, or 19 when I first.
You're a young lad.
Yeah, well, my best friend from the East Coast, he went out there first, and he told me about it. And then we would we would do all these spiritual disciplines like as 19, 20-year-olds. Like that was our hanging out. We'd do like all these breathing exercises and wild things. We'd also drink a lot of tequila and do crazy stuff too, but we had that like connection.
Yeah. Oh, it's so incredible. So this is before you're even in your 20s, you're learning that your inner technology, your mind is capable of pretty incredible feats, things that most people don't ever even touch in their whole life. How has that informed how you see the world today?
I think, as I get older, everything sort of, like when you're younger, there's this beautiful potency because your energy is so vital, and like so much energy can go into like an idea. It's just like, oh, you're so amped up about something. But also there's like a lack of a worldly sense. There's a lack of experience. One thing I have to my advantage now is I have tons of experiences, like spiritual, mundane, and they all contribute to like my perception of all that stuff. And I feel like there's like more of a benevolence to it. Like I think when I was younger, I was like, oh, you can manifest things. Like, but now there's like, it's like, yeah, but manifest truth, manifest love, manifest healing, like, and all those things are mysterious too. So like, I think when I was younger, you hear things, like college kids, they think that they know everything because they're learning stuff, and you just have that attitude. Like even in the spiritual world, I think you go through phases where you hear something, you're like, yeah, manifestation, and like, where now, like I cringe at that word because I feel like it's more integrated and it's more mysterious, and it like I don't have a sureness. It's more like a knowingness that is, I don't know, just more benevolent.
Sounds like you have a lot of respect for the mystery.
Yeah, you got to, man.
So when did ayahuasca enter on the scene for you?
Ayahuasca entered on the scene through Brad, a mutual friend of ours named Brad, and he let me know of a sit that was happening, and I went up. I had no, like, in my early 20s, I got invited to one, and I went to one, but I never sat. I just did like the sweat lodges, and actually the person that was facilitating that sit was actually one of the teachers of the person I sit with now. So like we have like this, huge gap of time, but this connection, with my teacher now was like
incredible.
Yeah. But yeah, Brad, I went and sat with them.
Brad really got a lot of people started.
Yeah.
In a deeper way. I feel like he opened the door.
Yeah.
With a lot of invites and space holding and
totally.
Duration. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brad.
Thanks, Brad. And then Maddie, was really the motivation and the energy to keep that up, because it was really dear to her heart. And I had some profound experiences with Spirit Molecule, 5-MeO, and but I'd never had like a very, very profound experience. And Maddie had many of them. She went to the jungles and did it, and so I went with her, and that was when it was like wow, this is, because the first time I sat with Brad, I drank like 3 cups and nothing really happened. I was just jamming with the shaman, and everyone's like puking.
It's a musical experience for you.
It was a musical experience, and everyone was like deep in it. I was just like, whoop. And then I went and sat with my teacher now, and it was just like, man, it was like, this is incredible. Yeah, and so I've continued to, every so often I'll go and sit with her. Yeah.
Incredible. How has the medicine work and the medicine path informed your music and your artistry?
Hugely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, because it's a very musical, like the medicine like informs the whole journey is musical driven. Yeah. And so all the shifts in energy are like different songs that go with different parts of the journey. And I just think that there's these living metaphors and living analogies with like my own body of work and how how I approach writing and how I approach music in general. It's just like more of that benevolence, more of that like community base, more of a sharing thing, less of this like music industry, fame, merch, and all this stuff. It's more like getting down to like the ancient. I love modern music, like huge fan of modern music, but it like informs where I'm at 100%. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen you play really big shows, and then I've also seen you play just the most wonderful backyard community things, and I've noticed you are aglow in a backyard too. There's like this community thing that I think I watch you really value, like being in a room with a bunch of people you know and seeing them all lit up, and it's just, I don't know, I just watched that be such a favorite experience of yours. So it says me from the crowd, but it feels like you're such a community-based person.
Yeah, I think there's I get a lot out of those small things. You know, you're not on a stage for one. Like the stage thing sometimes, like if the stage is too high, it's like it feels so awkward.
Does it?
Yeah, it feels very awkward.
I wouldn't know. Like you're singing over people?
Well, it's like there you are up there, and then like community's down there, and it's like the whole idea is to like break down all the barriers. You know? The Grateful Dead, they were true masters of all that. They played on tall stages, but like, you know, the whole thing was like the audience and the music and everything is like, it's all copacetic. It's all one thing, and the audience informs the musicians, and musicians inform the audience, and it's like, where can we all take this? It's not where can the band take us? It's like the audience has a lot to do with how an event happens, the outcome of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a beautiful metaphor, and I just had a whole spiritual experience just imagining like that relationship, that energy we're giving you, that you're giving us, that it's like recycling in the air and feeding each other.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of your little things that we might observe Dan doing in his natural habitat that keep Dan in harmony, in integrity, grounded, happy, healthy?
I think sometimes like discipline, meditation, like being disciplined with that, which I don't always do, but then sometimes like just being spontaneous, like not having routine, a lot of times can have a lot of magic in it. Sometimes with a partner, Maddie and I, it's like you can kind of live within the parameters of a domestic, comfortable thing, which is very beautiful and it feels good. But like the routine of that, sometimes you have to like be sporadic to your own self. You have to be, you know, like in order to like let the unknown in. But I also find
can you
like
say more about letting the unknown in?
Well, like
that was a beautiful line.
Like just being spontaneous, like not making a plan, like doing something just on a whim. Yeah. I feel like you are rewarded a lot through whatever energy all this is. You're rewarded by whimsical things, harmless whimsical
of
things.
Course.
But routine can be good too. But I feel like the routine and the discipline of like meditation and awareness, it's to enter into a space or like open up your mind to like more stuff, more things that are not routine based, you know. They're just like intangible.
How's your heart these days?
A heart?
Yeah.
Heart strong. Dan Heart strong.
Dan Heart strong.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I had a heart attack when I was 38.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
In 2020.
Yeah, I was like a few years ago when I was 22. No, in 2020, I had a heart attack. Yeah. It was like I had COVID real bad. I had that first strain of COVID. Like I was touring through. I went to LA. I went to San Francisco. I went to Seattle, Vancouver. I was touring all through there with my friend Chad from Dispatch. And we were just only starting to hear about this thing called COVID. They're like, yeah, there's this thing called COVID, I think. It's coming over from China. And we were touring all of those cities where flights from China are coming in. And he was violently ill. Chad was like violently ill and he lost his taste. And we were like, oh, that's weird. And him and I were sharing mics to like keep it easy on the sound engineer. We were like, yeah, let's just share mics. And I just started becoming ill. And I came home from that tour, and I was just like, there was a party at the house in El Dorado Springs, and there was this huge party, and there was like people everywhere. Were you there? Yeah, you were there. And my partner was happy that I was coming home because I could come home off tour into this party, and I just showed up like a ghost. And I was so sick. I just went straight to the bedroom, and I was sick for like 3 months. Oh. Yeah. So I was like so sick. And then at the end of that sickness, when I started getting better, I had a heart attack. It's crazy.
Crazy. What was that like for you? Like,
it was like,
how did you wrap your head and heart around that whole experience? What changed?
Well, I think I still kind of am, but it's like, it's been a journey because, you're young and something like that happens. We were talking about being young earlier and that vital energy, that whole like vitalness, that whole like indestructible, almost like immortal energy. It gets like knocked down like 12 notches, and you're like, whoa, I almost just died. And like, that was like people don't have heart attacks until nowadays after COVID and, COVID and vaccines and all that stuff, like people are
way more common.
Like young people are dying from heart attacks. One of my good friends, his brother died from a heart attack, and he was in his 30s. And, so it's like way, way, way more common. And, so I think part of that is like, I was going through heartbreak. I was touring. Just like my constitution of self was like weakened. And I feel like if your constitution was weak during COVID, like it just smacked you real hard. I got smacked so hard. And, it's been wild. Like the whole pharmaceutical journey too. Like,
yeah, surely you had to be on something after that.
Oh yeah, I was on like a few things, and then like shifting out of that into, like the roots of those pharmaceutical things in a more natural based.
Yeah. So where does that leave you now? Because you're also like, I've known you do some pretty intense parasite cleanses. You've had some tapeworms come out of you, and you're serious about your detox too.
Yeah.
Like you've gone on retreats for 10 days.
Yeah.
You're doing the medicine work, you're purging, you're cleansing. Like, I feel like your vessel is like, in the last 6 years especially, like you feel like a well-oiled machine on many levels.
Yeah, I think just like an automobile, at some point you got to get an oil change or else you're going to destroy the vehicle. And I feel like our tall beings, this is like a vehicle. We got like, what are we? If we were a car, it'd be like what are those long SUVs?
An Escalade?
Like an Escalade.
Okay, I like that way better.
Yeah, you'd be an Escalade. I'd be like I don't know, like a 81 Bronco or something. But yeah, I just, like after having an incident like that, you just start researching. I think a lot of people did during COVID too. It's like coming out of COVID and like the lingering things of the actual COVID, lingering things of the vaccines. Like people are like dealing with so many health issues that like it's heightened like a global awareness of like health. And obviously people who make supplements, they're making a killing right now with like how much our food is stripped of its like vitality. And I think some of the vitamins are just people trying to make a buck, but then there's some that are like what's lacking in our food. I think there's like within me and within a lot of people, there's a general awareness of like what you need to do in order to stay healthy. You get older, you got to get colonoscopy. Or they put a camera up your bum.
Have you had one?
No, I never have. Not that old yet.
Clock's a ticking.
But I've done things where I've fasted or cleaned out in one way or another.
Yeah, and there's no camera, but you're seeing it come out.
Oh, you're seeing it for sure.
Yeah, after you do an experience like that, or you get on the board, I think is what you call it, do you feel like vital energy? Do you feel like, oh wow, like? Or is what's the
you have to be, it can go, you have to be very careful because you're cleansing out your gut, and your gut has like beautiful, what is it, gut biome, is that what they call it? Like there's just like a culture of stuff in your gut that's just helping you break everything down and send it to cells and yeah. So when you're fasting or cleaning out one way or another, you have to make sure that you're being restorative to your biome. If you're cleaning out, then you also have to like make sure you're keeping intact a good biome. So sometimes if you do it and you're not like well informed, you can like clean out the good biome, and then you're starting from scratch, and that could be like, that's an uphill battle sometimes.
Those are just some things that I know that you're doing ever so often to keep your car running well, and
Yeah.
those are not easy things to do. It takes like discipline and hard work and time at home. So
Well, it takes my partner being like,
yeah,
I want to do this,
she's so
which
good at that
means
stuff.
you're doing it.
yeah, she's so good at that kind of stuff. She's on that. I feel like you'd probably have a really great list of impactful teachers or people on this planet who have made a mark on you, who've left their mark on you. Who would some of those people be? Like, who are Dan's role models?
Oh God. Well, a lot of my role models I've never met. So
That's
like
great.
Bob Dylan,
Yeah.
like his body of work and how he carried himself through the craziness of the 60s, and as an artist, how he's like kept, people say reinventing himself, but I don't know. I feel like he's just continually becoming. He's not stuck in some like nostalgic sense of himself. It's just like, as an artist, he's like hands down my favorite. We're actually going to see him in Louisville, Kentucky in like a couple weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
It's going to be amazing. So yeah, Bob Dylan, like some of the Sufi poets like Hafiz and Rumi. I used to read a lot of that. And then like Dylan Thomas, or a lot of like literary like poets where I've read them and I'm just like, I understand it. Like, I don't know how I understand this, but it's like describing essence, it's like an essence of like awareness, or like the moment. It's like the use of language is like blows me away, like stuff like that. And then, there's no one like family that can teach you, right? Because you're like trying to figure out who you are and why you are who you are. And then you just, was that quote by Ram Dass, like, you think you're enlightened, well, go home for Thanksgiving. And I think it's so cool to like, that's such a wonderful quote, but then also like just going home and being around the people you love so dearly, but then you like, they all drive you crazy too. It's like, it's amazing. It's good teaching.
It's great teaching.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing all of that. Yeah.
So, no, I just like, I like this format because it's like my memory is in a weird place too. As I get older, it's like, I've had so many experiences like being on the road and stuff that like a lot of stuff I can't remember until someone asks me a question. And then this whole like novel opens up, which I think is pretty cool. It's like a good way to just be in the moment and ready for new experiences. But then also, there's so much that I could write about and talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel like you have books in you.
Yeah.
I mean, you have had already many albums come out of you. That's your heart and soul, and that's that moment in time. Is that how you view an album? Once it's out there, do you view it as that was that period of life to this period of life? And then there's another period of life that you're always working on? Like, how does that work for you?
There's a delay, with like movies and with like albums and creative processes. I think like, especially with recording, there's such a delay because I have completed songs that I want to record, but then I'm like also writing newer songs from there. So like by the time you arrive at like the place where you're going to record, however that manifests, those songs could be quite old. And then by the time that music gets put out after it's recorded, because it has to get mixed and mastered and recorded in the right way, so it's like there's such this delay to like putting stuff out in music. Some people are just like recording and putting things out right away. That's so cool. But for some reason I have this think that music's going to start shifting into now that AI's kind of swamped us. I do feel like there's going to be a lot more merit in real analog life and like what's happening in the moment. So like the visual, the video, and the audio, and the moment being captured, so that people can be a part of that and be sure that it was human made. I think there's going to be a lot more stuff in the future where it's like it's just happening now and you're receiving it now. But But like recording albums and stuff, it's like there's such a delay to all that process. I'm about ready to record a new record here, but I'm also writing, like my favorite stuff is the stuff that I'm writing now. So yeah, it's a weird process.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I really loved your latest album,
Thank
Harboring
you.
Pearls.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's next for you, personally and professionally? What feels like is on the horizon for you?
I'll keep it sort of whimsical in some sense, but like now that I'm home for a little while, I have some of my friends are coming over and been recording some of them, and so I enjoy the engineering aspect of it too. And I want to record my own record here and like just do everything myself. It'd be sort of the first time that I've ever done that. I always like to have someone in the room, so I'd like to maybe have an engineer here with me so that they can just sort of handle the technical aspect and I can just be the artist. That would be a luxury. I want to record people. I want to be the engineer. I also want to record my stuff. But I feel like I have to like, in order for me to record my stuff, I sort of have to like, it's just this weird mechanism in me where I have to record other people. It's weird. It's like, yeah, you can't. I don't know. I'm just so weird in that sense. Like
You want it to be reciprocal?
well, I have to be of service to other people in order for me to feel good about recording my own stuff. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't think I've ever really vocalized it until now. And it's also like, good to get my chops up too as an engineer before I start going down my own path.
Oh, it's an exciting path ahead.
It's fun, yeah. And also I've been looking at all these poems I've written over the years, and one of these days I got to put a poem book out.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that. Speaking of, I feel like your lyrics are poetry.
Thanks.
They are. And more than that, for me specifically, it's such a visual journey. As I'm listening to your music, I am having an inner journey experience. That's what I love about poetry too, is that while you're reading it, there's things working in your awareness and like opening you up. And it's such a spiritual experience. And that's how I feel when I listen to your music.
Right on.
Yeah. I'm having a soulful and spiritual experience. But it's got this human emotion in it too, where I'm just like, I feel like I'm feeling everything you're feeling too.
Yeah.
You just imbue all of that.
Yeah, someone was writing it. They like listened to my record and wrote about it, and they're like, as usual, he basically talks about all his personal stuff. I was like, oh, am I like just singing songs that's in my journal? I don't know. Heartbreak is good for writing, but I like all the esoteric stuff a lot more. But when you're having heartbreak, you have to write about it you have to go through it in order to get out of it. I think we're always like sort of heartbroken. There's always something in life. We're faced with our mortality through all of our loved ones passing away. And
yeah, which you recently experienced too.
Yeah, a lot of it.
I was thinking about you before we recorded. I feel like your grief is one of your biggest teachers. You didn't name it in that way, but when I think about your music and just what a deep feeler you are and lover of life and the whole human experience and the stories you tell, a lot of it's been marked by grief. And I don't know, I just thought of you as kind of like a grief alchemist.
Grief alchemist.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
And your music is one of the vehicles of expressing that or working through that. And what a gift.
Yeah, it is a gift. I guess some artists, me included, we have to watch out for like maybe being addicted to that process in order to like have content. I don't think that I'm doing it because like I don't feel like I'm putting myself.
Everybody stop dying.
Yeah. I feel like just life in general, being human, is this wild tapestry of all these emotions, and I feel like for me, I communicate it through music, or like all the things I feel so deeply. And music itself is, like songwriting and music is such a powerful medium because you're using, like music on its own, like a symphony can give you goosebumps, but then like adding lyrics on top of it, it's like both hemispheres of your brain are like being engaged in this way. And then I don't know, I'm pretty happy with my relationship with music and having it as a buddy. It's my friend.
You can just infinitely hang out with and get to know and trade bodies with. Right? Maybe this is your friend you get to do that with.
Hey, that was a good callback.
Yeah. What was there?
Nice.
So I have this thing that I like to ask people, and I'll tell you how I view it first, which is because I'm so tall, I cannot hide, and I get to be seen. So I choose to be seen as a lighthouse.
Nice.
And that was a conscious choice a while back where I was like, all right, I don't just want to be a giant. I don't just want to be a freak. I don't just want to be a this, or I don't just want to be beautiful. Whatever the things are that I thought maybe other people viewed me as, or I wanted them to, I kind of chose at some point to be seen differently.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you were to fill in the blank of that, like if you cannot hide, if you get to be seen, and you get to be seen in so many ways,
Yeah.
so personally, so vulnerably, especially on stage. But what do you choose to be seen as?
Whoa. Wow. Lighthouse is a good one. You're like, yo, there's rocks pretty close. So keep your boats. Like, I want you to enjoy the ocean, this beautiful, vast ocean. But, I'm also here I can see things that
It's
you
dark
can't.
and I don't want you to crash.
Yeah. I can see things that you can't. Gosh, that's such a good question. Just a guy. Just a gentle, giant guy. But that's like also, I don't know. I feel like I'm seen. But that's good. A lighthouse. Geez, what would I be?
What was coming to mind for me for you is an artist.
An artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just like a sheet drying out on a line.
That's what you are. You're a sheet drying out on a line.
Just like giving face to the wind.
Yep. Yeah.
It'd be a flag with nothing on it, just a blank flag. Well, maybe there's something on it. What's on the flag? I'd be the flagpole, and I'd be the flag. There's something on the flag. I don't know what it is though. Maybe a pirate symbol.
It's your dream symbol.
It's my dream symbol on the card.
From the meditation school.
Yeah.
You finally found it.
I found it. I am it.
You finally became it.
I am it.
You always were. Well, thank you so much for coming on Tall Tales and sharing way more than just your journey with your height, but just your journey as an artist and as, first and foremost, just a beautiful human being.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah. I love you so much, man.
Love you
so
too.
grateful to have you in my life. And thank you, really, for taking the time to share your story with the people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Till next time.
Till next time. Oh, and by the way, Dan helped name this podcast.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Remember we were
That's right.
workshopping it in Puerto Rico.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like, we were just joking around about a whole bunch of bad names.
Yeah.
But good bad, but like it had to be on the nose in some way.
So,
And if you want to come on the podcast, if you want to share your tallest story, send me a message on Instagram. I'd love to talk to you.
I'll think about that motto.
Yeah, you think about that motto.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for coming on.
Sweet. Hopefully it all happened.
Yeah, right.
It's the first time.